Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch. Every once in a while, we talk about something else crafty, but today it is all cross stitch, and I have a lot to talk about. It's kind of like my everything but the kitchen sink video. I made it safely to Delaware. Thank you so much for all of you who sent me travel well wishes. We made it, and I am in the midst of an utter mess. I am in the area right now that will eventually be my craft space. And when it gets organized and I make another trip or two to IKEA, because I have things in my head of how I want to organize things, I will give you a full tour. This is an IKEA piece. Those were cubes from Michael's, I think, that I got ages ago that I figured, they match close enough. So that's with that, but none of this is organized kind of the way I want it. It's just stuck in things. And then Mo has to build my table when I get that, and then he has to build some other stuff for me. So I've got to put him to work. But I will eventually show you. Once I have it, I would love to show you. I'm really trying to find out ways to organize things to the best of their ability so they know where they are and it makes sense. And I would love to share that with you when I get a chance. Okay, so I actually have a previous just stitching finish. I haven't done anything with it. I suspect it'll go into a stitching scrapbook when I finally organize. I know where the book is that I think I'm going to use, but I'm not sure where the tape is, and I'm not sure where some of the other stuff is at the moment. So it's all a little up in the air. We've got boxes behind you where the video is and all that. But I did want to show you. This was the chart that I sent. It was a giveaway. Was it 2 weeks ago? I think it was now. It was Country Winter, and I think it was Plum Street. I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah, I don't remember which of them. It was like a Plum Street or Little House. I think it was Plum Street, but I'm not 100% sure. But I wanted to show you, I stitched it on Aida. So that's what it looks like on Aida. This would be an 18 count Aida, and for reference, this is Mystic Gray. That early on, this was stitched, I started it actually, I looked in my book, I started it in January of 2020, and I finished it at the end of February of 2020. I clearly didn't have as many projects going back then. And this probably actually would have been in one of my very first videos, because I started my Flosstube in beginning of February in 2020. So if I finish this at the end, but if you'll notice here in the pattern, he's holding like a quilt block. That quilt block in the pattern is stitched over one. I chose not to do it, but if you see, it doesn't really look like it's missing anything. I was looking at this, and I could have, if I wanted to, stitched an extra snowflake here, because there is one, down here on this side, which it's ticky-tack. I think I'm fine with the way it is, but that's how you could fill in the space a little bit. So if you want to tackle do all those quarter stitches on Aida and do it, you certainly probably could. But if you wanted to stitch this pattern on Aida, I think it looks just fine without the quilt block. It's just, a little snowman hanging out next to all the trees. So that's what that looks like. I did send it. The winner was Rachel Q Stitches, who has a Flosstube, and I cannot wait to see Rachel stitch it, and maybe you'll follow me along on her journey stitching it as she goes along with it, because she comes up with some great ideas of fabrics and things and stuff like that. But that's my version of it, and this was before I had really discovered hand dyers, so this is just probably from 1, 2, 3 stitch, and like I said, it's the Mystic Gray. Okay, so that's an old piece. I haven't figured out here. I think I'm just gonna bring a chair over so I can just throw things on the chair rather than on the floor. Okay, right now it's just one of those stadium chairs. I don't have anything like that in here. Now, let's get back to some current stitching. I have 6 projects that I worked on this week, one of which was a new start, and the rest were current pieces that you have seen. I have changed, I think, how I show things. I used to do, let's do the finish, then the projects, then the new starts, and blah, blah, blah. But while I was doing the Stitch the Winter Olympics, I followed each day with the prompt. What I really liked about it was I can follow each day and tell you what my thinking was of why I'm stitching whatever project it is. And it's kind of, you know, a little thought process if you care. For me, it helps me with my thought processes. So this first one you haven't seen in a while. It is one of my oldest projects, so it really needs some love. It is a big giant project, Little House Needleworks. It's Kringles. I started this in May of 2020. That May, I did all Christmas new starts for that kind of idea of mania. I am not stitching all 3 floors. I am only going to stitch 2 floors and pull out the middle. I don't know which of the, I'll probably keep these the same because they do have the chandeliers, unless I can figure out things, parts of this that would look good under there. I'm not sure then, you know, which other 3 I'm pulling out. You will see there is up in the top of the 2nd floor, I had started a room, but I don't think I'm keeping that one. So I am in the process of pulling it out. It's got a ways to go, and I really need to figure out, even just a little bit, bring it out at least once a month just to get going on it, because it'll never get finished. I mean, it's going to be 2 years come this May. So that's what it looks like. Bring it up close. The roof was the toughest part, I have to say. Right now, I am just working on, I made the decision, if I could, to do all of the structure of the building, and then I figured the fun part would be the inside part. So I am currently, and I switched back and forth depending. This was stitched Friday and Saturday. Friday obviously is my filming day and everything that goes with it. So I maybe had an hour of stitching because we were packing and getting everything ready to go to leave, well, as much as we could on Saturday morning. And then Saturday was travel day, and we left later than we wanted because I was concerned about it. It was icy on Friday, and I wanted to make sure the roads were completely clear before we drove. And so we left probably 8:30ish, 9 o'clock. So that pushed us back. And then when we got here, we really wanted to get the U-Haul truck to where it needed to go. And we thought it had to be at 5 o'clock. Long story, it didn't have to be. But anyway, so basically until I kind of collapsed exhausted on Saturday night and got maybe another hour of stitching. So this only got a couple hours of stitching when all was said and done. But at least I got my hands on it. And I think, like I said, if I try to touch it at least once a month, it'll get something. So I love this part. Just at this point, I'm just filling in the Kringles. And then I think I pulled that down a little bit more. I did some there, pulled across, and working. So I'm working back and forth between building the bottom of the building, filling in the sign. If you'll notice, I don't even know if you can see there, on each side of the sign, there is a type of snowflake image. I'm saying a lot today. I think my mind, we're 2 weeks to closing, so my mind is pretty much in a million places. But you can't really see it. And I don't think necessarily it'd show up a lot here. So I may adjust what color those are. But I think I would like them there because I think I'd like a little something. So my 2-story Kringles is coming along. And my hope, and I think what I'm going to do, because what I've done is each month I kind of think about some projects that I would like to at least see that month. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's just a suggestion in my mind. And I think each month I'm going to keep Kringles in that kind of suggestion line so that it can get a little bit done. And I would like by the end of the year to have the entire structure built, and then maybe just focus next year on just getting the rooms filled. That would be great if May of 2023 I could have it finished. Maybe that'll be my goal, because it's certainly not going to be this May. Okay, so Friday, Saturday, not a lot of stitching. Sunday, not as much as I was hoping. I was hoping then we could kind of chill, but then we had a garage full of boxes to try to figure out what to do with. But I did pull out, I hadn't pulled out, when I need to show you on my iPad, I hadn't pulled this piece out in a little while. And this is the piece that Connor had chosen. And I hadn't stitched it in a while, and I really do enjoy stitching it. It's by 2x2 StitchArt. It's called Northern Lights. Now they actually, you're gonna see the reflection in the window a little bit. They have two versions of this. They have this in the bluish version, and they have more of a, I don't know if it's pinkish or purplish. I think it's pinkish, different shades version as well, which is beautiful. So depending on what kind of look you wanted, they have both of them. At the time, I had not realized that these were Ukrainian designers, or this was a Ukrainian designer. You will see some purchases this week that I did make to support that effort. But this, at the time, I hadn't realized it. I don't know. I don't always look where the designer's from when I buy, because if I like a design, well, and actually Connor bought this, so I really wouldn't have known. But here it is. Oh, and Kringles, you'd think I didn't do this every week. Kringles is an 18 count Artemis from Bestitchme. This one is easy. It's just an 18 count white Aida. And that's where we are. I really focused on, I wanted to bring this down because the last time I had stitched, I had brought this because I'd like to, I'm really hoping this lines up or I'm going to fudge it. But I'd really like to kind of complete that and then continue working my way down. I did a lot over here and then working my way down. And then I started, you're not even going to be able to see because it's in a light color. And when it's covered, it'll be, but there's a star there and some other items. This one's beautiful. It is about 5 or 6 different shades, just changing slightly. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult. You got to make sure, oh, do I have the right one or whatever? And for some reason, one of the flosses I did not have in the bag, and I know I had fully kitted this. I'd fully kitted it for myself and for Connor to stitch because, you know, this was what he wanted to stitch as well, which is now sitting boxed up somewhere because it didn't go to school with him. But, you know, maybe over spring break. Actually, I don't know where it is, so I guess he couldn't do it. But anyway, that's what it looks like so far, and I really enjoy it. I think it's gonna be beautiful done, so I would like to get back to it. So that's called Northern Lights. Alrighty, now this one, it was Monday and it was February 28th, so it was the last day of February, and you know that I was supporting Carla from Carla Being Crafty with her stitch along. For February, her stitch along was #B, and that's BEE. Be My Own Valentinesal. And the idea was to stitch on anything with bees on it. So I had started this a couple weeks ago and I figured, okay, it's still February. Now that it's March, it's not like I'm going to put this away because I love stitching on it and it's beautiful, but I wanted to end February on a bang with Carla's stitch along. So it's Tudor Bee from the Blue Flower. I have to see, some of these things reflect. I'm working on, eventually, I think we're gonna be turned because if I have a table, I want a table there and then I would put something on that to film. And so I'd be looking that way and you'd be looking this way. That's the eventual goal. And then hopefully maybe we wouldn't have as much glare, but work in progress like everything else. So this is what I pulled out and I got some good progress actually. That's where I am. This is 18 count Blue Moon from To Die For Fabrics. And it's a very pretty blue. It's a bluey blue. It's not as much, it's not a grayish blue as much, it's more of a bluey blue. And I love it. So I did a lot. I focused a lot down here. My idea was to get a lot of the, I pretty much just kept the green out. You know, did all of that around there. I did some border, I believe, did all of this, and then I started around there too, because I wanted to pull in some of those colors. But I love the green on this fabric, so I really enjoy stitching that. So that's where we are. It's a lot of fun. It is the first blue flower I've ever stitched, and I am enjoying it. And I love the colors on the blue. I mean, it looks beautiful here, but I just really love how the colors have been brought out here. And it just really makes them pop in a different way. You know me, I love blue. And so anytime I can use blue, I'm gonna use it. So that's that one. Okay, now You know, each week I have to work on Lady Halloween. So I decided I'm pulling her out. I'm back where I have my etoiles. So now I can, whoops, now I can, why is that not working? There we go. Figure out what I wanted to do. I decided I wanted to focus on the bubbles. So this week was bubble and potion focus. So this is the original design. Whoa, there we go. Jardin, Prive, Lady Halloween. And I am keeping it along the idea of black, dark gray, and a lightish gray. And then I'm throwing in color where I can. Now, there's a little story, and this wasn't my original plan what finished, but I wanted to show you. And thank you so much. Everybody told me that that shiny-ish white is a DMC light effects. So thank you so much for that. I had no idea. I don't have any idea of all these different types of DMCs. So that was really helpful. Let me show her and then I will. So there she is. Let's bring her close. My focus, and I think pretty much, you know what? I did do the back stitch too in the, I'm going to fold this over. I did the back stitch in the potion bottles. So I started with the potion bottles first. Let's do this. So there we are. And I filled in the actual liquid that would be in them. And then I back stitched. This one is just all back stitch inside, and that one, it's back stitched to make the actual jar. And then I worked on bubbles. So my original plan was I was actually going to do two different colors. I had stitched, now these are two, this is an Etoile. This is Etoile C995. I will put it in the description box below. So I stitched this guy first, loved it, no problem stitching it. I used 2 strands for each block on the 18 count Smoky Amethyst. Make sure I say that right, from To Die For Fabrics. And then I was going to do 2 different colors of potions, and then I was going to rotate the bubbles, and I had this whole plan and idea, and I was going to map out and all that. And this was the other color I was going to use, which is C907. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that be fun? These two would look great together. And they would both look great here. Well, so I stitched this one in the green, and I did the whole thing. And the stitches were just not laying right, and it was pulling, and I did it exactly the same way as I did the blue. And for whatever reason, it just wasn't working. But I persevered. I said, you know what? It's all right. You're looking at it from a distance. This would be one I think I will, I don't know how I'm going to finish, but it is something I think at some point, if I can put a couple of shelves, I would at least put it on a board and have it up. This would be something I would probably, given all the work I've put into it, leave up all year round. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to keep working on the bubbles. And I had started and I did a blue and then I did green and I was working. And then I even had the bright idea, ooh, I'll mix them because the green still wasn't working. So I said, let me try mixing them and then I can go back and actually I wouldn't even restitch the jars. I would just have the bubbles and mixed color. That wasn't working. The green was just giving me fits. So I pulled out all the green bubbles. I pulled out the green potion and I redid everything in the blue. I don't know why. It's the first time I've really had any trouble with any etoiles, and for whatever reason, this one, I'll have to try it on something else and see, but it just wasn't working. I think the green bubbles would have looked super cute. So if you're thinking about it, I'd say go for it. But for whatever reason, it just didn't work for me. And so we ended up with blue shiny bubbles. So we have blue shiny bubbles and potion. We have the 2 purple shiny hair. And then our little frog down there, he's a darker green. He's a different etoile. The only other piece of etoile that I will use is there's a black cat over here. And I will stitch that in the black etoile. I believe, yeah, I'm sure they have black etoile. So I will stitch that with that. And then you will have a little bit of sheen. I have a bunch of cobwebs that I need to do, but I think I'm going to do those all at the end with the light effects. So that's what she looks like complete at the moment. YouTube's really going to struggle for a screenshot because I'm all over the place today. I'm not really showing these things in a good YouTube screenshot section. And closer up to show you the the potion and the bubbles. Oh, and you know, I also did the XYZ. I had some extra time, so I pulled out the black and I did that as well. I have a bunch of elements left to do yet. There's the cat and a big element here. I have a bunch of back stitching on the books, on a lot of the cobwebs. There's another 1 or 2 bumblebees I have to make. I think I've made all the spiders, unless there's one down here that I haven't done yet. I just have to do all their cobwebs. So it's coming along, and I still plan on doing this at least once a week because I love it and I want to see it finished. So maybe, I don't know if maybe it'll be a March finish, maybe by the end of March. I'm not sure. Next week is spring break, so I don't know how much stitching I will have. I'll talk about that at the end with people in and out here. But, and then I have to go back to Connecticut real quick. But I'm just going to keep going. So if I can't get it done in March, then it'll definitely be an April finish. Super excited to show everybody a full finished Lady Halloween. And if you are stitching it, please let me know. I would love to link you in the description box below when people send me info and say I'm doing this. I try to add their info to that so you can check them out. Instagram as well as YouTube. Doesn't have to be just YouTube. It can be an Instagram account. And I would love to, and if you don't even want to do that, but you are doing it, send me pictures, whether you do it on Instagram or email me. I would love to see. There's so many options and things you can do with this. It's amazing, and I would love to see what you decide to do. That was a big, long story. I have 2 more pieces. The next piece is a digital piece. I think at this point, everybody is aware of what's going on in the world, and one of the things that stitchers are so generous and loving, and they try to give back in some ways that they can. And designers themselves are also wonderfully generous and giving. And it's not the only. I think the quilting world has done so. I know the stamping world, there is a huge fundraiser with some big names in the paper crafting world, and they're selling made cards that all the money will go for proceeds. Gina K Stamps has a sunflower stamps digital set that she has created, and all the proceeds will go to a cause to help Ukraine. So the crafting world is doing so much, but cross stitch is no exception. I have bought from Ukrainian designers, which I will show you, but I've also taken advantage of some of the freebies that have come up and about, and I will show you some ideas for others that I haven't started, but I did start one. Modern Folk Embroidery put out this one right here. I don't know how to say it. The MY, I don't know how to say that. It's Ukrainian. It's Ukrainian piece. I can't remember exactly. The letters basically say peace. Oops. And he's got a wonderful little story along with it too. I'll link on his site where I found it. So I decided to pick that one up. And I did go with his suggestions because the color is great and he's got a great eye for things. He said 444. He had suggested for the yellow, 322 for the blue. There are so many great options of yellows and blues that you could go with whatever you wanted, but that's what I chose. And I picked it up and I started it. And that's where I am. This is an 18 count Wisteria gray from To Die For Fabrics. I wasn't sure, I know this is on the bluish tone of grays, by the way. This is a little bit bluer of a gray, as opposed to gray. I wasn't exactly sure which way I wanted to go. I wanted to let the colors of the yellow and the blue really shine. And I thought about a neutral, and I did pull out a neutral for another project, which I will show you. But I decided on this one that I really wanted this color because it showed the blue and the yellow to its best light. Can you believe I've never stitched Modern Folk Embroidery before? So this is my introduction to his designs and patterns, and I've got my eye on some and I'm looking. I just haven't done anything yet about it. But I really enjoy, I'm sad that we have to stitch this, but I enjoyed stitching it and finding a new designer and, you know, at least infusing as much as I could good thoughts while I was stitching it. And that's where we are. Now I think what I will do with the different freebies, I will use the same yellow and blue across the board. I'm changing what fabrics I might be using on them. There's 4 freebies in total that I've seen. There's a whole bunch out there. Those happen to be the 4 that I just noticed and chose, but you have tons to choose from. And I think at some point they'll go in a stitching scrapbook. And obviously it's a place to journal why and thoughts and so on and so forth regarding why we're stitching these. I think eventually the freebies in 2020 from the, you know, Be Well and Stitch movement might be something that also goes in the stitching scrapbook, because it would be something that would be thoughts to journal on, would be a great place. So that's it. And in a moment, I will show you a couple of the other patterns that I'm planning and what my thoughts are with them as well. I need to pick up some more 444 and 322 though, because I don't think I have anywhere near enough. And the last piece that I worked on yesterday. So I didn't know what to work on. And it was funny because, and I should have written it down because I'm not sure I'm going to get it right 100%. A few times over the week, I have seen the quote from Jimi Hendrix, when the power of love is more than the love of power, then the world will be at peace. I don't think I said it right. That's the big gist of it. So it made me think of the power of love. And I have a piece that's named Love, and I want to show you, actually, it's a freebie from The World in Stitches. I'm going to show you from a distance. I will link it, so just click on the link if you want it. You don't need to screenshot it. That's basically what it looks like. It here is stitched in red. I chose to do a darker color fabric and stitch it in white, and that's what it looks like. This is 18 count red wine from To Die For Fabrics. And I had pretty much this half done. I finished all of the top here. I did V and E and worked my way down. And so all I have left is this part. I waited and waited to find the right fabric. I love this color with it. And I just love the delicate look to it and the flowers and kind of, it's not lace, but lacy look. But that's what it came out to be. I am using, I want to say B5200. So I just wanted a nice bright, crisp white to contrast against the red. And that was my thought process of why I chose this one. I wanted to spread some love. So that was that. So those are the projects that I worked on this week. Now, I don't have specific plans next week besides Lady Halloween. She's always on, right? She's always on the docket. I picked up, I need to go somewhere else on my iPad. I picked up 2 other freebies that I can show you, and then I don't know what I did. I might have saved the third one. Stone Street Stitchworks, she adapted a freebie. So the original freebie is all one color. It's all the brown. I picked that up. I think it's beautiful, adding the flowers, the 2 colors of the flowers. And I think what I might do is each layer of the border, the outer layer will be blue, like my Modern Folk embroidery piece, and the inner layer will be the yellow. I will do the different color flowers, and then I do not know if I will just do some sort of brown for the rest of it. I want that part to kind of fade in a little bit so we can really focus. And I did choose, because I'm adding the brown to the two colors. I did choose a neutral for this. It's called Shirley, and it's from Fortnite Fabrics, and that's what it looks like. It's just a kind of a cream. Fabrics are having a tough time in this light. It's a cream, and I'm not even sure it has any type of other underlying colors. It's basically just a nice kind of neutral cream. So that's what that looks like. So that's what I want to stitch with that. That's that one right there. Okay. And then the other one that I know I picked up here, it's from Beth Twist. It's Heartstring Sampleries, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. She had a freebie that she adapted, and I think it's around this house may peace abide. So she adapted it to say around the world may peace abide. And what I think I'm going to do, and this is an unnamed, I want to say it's Dying for Cross Stitch is the fabric. I'm not 100% sure. It is an unnamed yellow. I can't find the name of it. And I'm going to stitch it in the 322. So it's all going to be monochromatic in the blue. And then I'm going to do it on this beautiful yellow. So that's my thought with that one. And then the last one that I happen to see, let me see. It's from Cresseta Gogo, and it's a pattern with the dove and the word peace, and then holding the sprig of, the words just escaped me, but then there's two banners, one in yellow, one in the blue. And her suggestions, 444, same yellow, but she had suggested 995 for the blue. I will continue with the three, what is it that I'm using? 322. I'll show it really quick and then go on, because that you can get it as well. I saw it on Instagram. I'll search. If I can find it and she has a direct link to a blog or something, then I will put it on, I will put it underneath in the description box below. But I will link the other two. The one from Stone Street is called, I believe, Flowers in the Window, something like that. So it will look different on the freebie page, and then you just adapt it to however you want. But I will link those in the description box below. So at some point this month, I would like to start some more of those. Not all, not all next week, but maybe one next week, dependent on what I want to do. And, just continue to stitch on them. And then, hope for peace, pray for peace. So that's pseudo plans. I don't have a specific thing there. That's the stitching. Now, I got a little bit of happy mail. Thank you so much to two very lovely, generous people. The first one was from Carla, Carla being crafty. Carla sent me this beautiful card, which is so cool. It kind of reminds me of And a Tree Grew, because it's got all the trees. Thank you for that lovely note, Carla. And Carla had picked up some, she had done the I'm Feeling Lucky from Under the Sea Fabrics, and she had picked some up. And she was so generous and asked me, because she knows I like Aida, and this one's 16 count, which, normally I'm an 18 count girl, but I am building up my 16 count stash. And so she said, would you like this? So generous. And I said, thank you very much. That is wonderfully generous of you. And she sent it to me. It is an opal. It's called Kelpie. This is the 16 count. So that's what 16 count looks like. It's a beautiful, beautiful blue and green set of shades. And you've got kind of that bluish tinge opal. It's beautiful. I don't even know if the opal is showing up on here. But thank you so much, Carla. That was incredibly, incredibly generous of you. Carla picked up she got some really, really great ones. I don't know if it was her last video or the one before that. If you were ever curious about the I'm Feeling Lucky, you basically choose a count, choose opal or regular, and you get sent a surprise. So if you want to see what Carla ended up getting, check out her videos. I'll link her down below. She got some great ones. Leslie Under the Sea Fabrics has beautiful fabric. So that was my first set of Happy Mail. I got that when I got down here to Delaware. And actually they both came to Delaware. This one, it's funny because I know that this stitching friend had asked for my address and I had given it, and then my brain is in so many different places, I'd kind of forgotten. And so when I got this, it was just this wonderful, lovely surprise. This is from Mary. Mary, thank you so much. So Mary is a card maker, and I do want to give her a little bit of a plug. Look at this beautiful card from Mary. It is gorgeous. Sending a tiny hello. You know, you've got the window, and the window is up using like a mounting tape type of thing. So it's beautiful, layered, and the different layers here with the papers. So this is, yeah, I used to say when I would sell things on Etsy, I would talk about, you know, so this is a 1, 2, 3, 5 layered card. It's beautiful. Now Mary sells cards on Etsy, and I am going to link her down below. Her Etsy shop is Jasmine Blossom Crafts at Etsy. So I am going to link her. She very rarely toots her own horn. Mary has a Flosstube as well. And I will link her Flosstube. But I don't, at the moment, I have nothing in my Etsy shop. I have the shop, but I don't have it. I never really promoted it myself. I get it because it's a totally different craft. So Mary very rarely talks about it. But look at this beautiful card. I support Etsy sellers that sell everything. So I would like to support Mary with that. So Mary sent me this beautiful card. And then she had sent me, she had stitched this, and it's beautiful, beautiful. You need to go see. It might be a screenshot. It's not the last video. I think it's the second to last video. And she had stitched it, and it looks beautiful. And I had said how much I loved it, not knowing that next thing I knew, she was going to pass it on to me. This is it's another heartstring samplery. And it's called V is for Valentine. And that's what it looks like. And it is gorgeous. And how Mary stitched it is beautiful. And that's really sold it for me. I mean, it's a beautiful pattern to begin with, but her finishing it is what sold it. So she sent me that. And then she's been following closely on my Shamrock saga. And she gets it. And she understands just, you know, all of the emotion going along with a sick little doggy. And she made me a little needle minder. Look at that. It's a little shamrock. It's a teeny tiny shamrock. So Mary, thank you so much. I was just completely surprised and totally honored that you sent me your beautiful work. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I had between Carla and Mary, I had some beautiful, beautiful Happy Mail, and it's been wonderful. Thank you so much, both of you. I have one piece of shopping that is physical that I want to show you, but I wanted to highlight, I bought from 3 different Ukrainian designers. So I would like to show you what I got in case there's something that tickles your fancy and if you'd like to support. I had ordered these a couple weeks ago and thinking I'd be in Delaware sooner than I was. Luckily, we were able to hold the mail, so it didn't get stuck in the mailbox. Threadbook Primitives. I picked up 2 different patterns on Etsy. One is called Beggar's Night. They're both the same type of design. So there's that one. And then Beggar's Luck. I don't know. I want to say she has a series of maybe 4 of these. Some of you would know much better than me. I've never stitched anything from Threadbook Primitives, but I've been looking at these. I thought that was really kind of cool. And so I picked those 2 up and they got sent along. So that's it for physical. And then digital. I was able to, and I made a point, I had thought about it February 28th. I made a point I wanted to do this before February ended because Etsy, they announced near the end of February I wish they'd do it for March too, but I guess we can't. We'll take everything we can get. Ukrainian sellers, they forgave all of their bills, because when somebody sells something on Etsy, they charge you to put it on Etsy. They charge you to list it. They charge you a fee when you sell it. And then there's also, you know, another fee from like PayPal or credit, whatever. So Etsy just upped their fees for sellers. So, you know, they're not hurting. I don't feel bad that they forgave the bills for anything that would be on the February bill. So February 28th, I was able to get in and I bought from 3 different designers. This first set is from Wonderland, Ukraine. And I will link everything. I'll link the 3 sellers down below if you would like to choose anything. This one is just a little doggy cross stitch. A little shamrock, just a colorful shamrock. When he has all his hair and he doesn't have that kind of puppy poodle cut type of thing because of his eye, he is definitely scruffy looking like this. So I picked that one up. And then I picked up, I had seen this one with the sunflowers. It's the gnome sunflowers. I thought those were adorable. And I was on a gnome kick. And they're the same kind of color pattern scheme, but they're the autumn gnomes. Aren't those fun? So cool. So those 3 are from Wonderland, Ukraine. Then I went to Stitches Mania is the name of this Ukraine seller. And this first one is Puppy Under Blanket. Again, a little shamrock. He's right now laying on a blanket on the floor up here. He looked a little chilly because it's chilly here this morning. So he's got a sweater on too. I really think he likes the sweater. It makes him kind of cozy. And between that and the fluffy blanket, he's a happy camper right now. So I picked that one up. And then I went completely a little different. What's this one called? It's called Flower Girl. Look at how beautiful that is. That's gorgeous. I love the colors. I love the look. So I picked that one up. And then I went a little landscapey. And this one is called Beautiful Sea View. It's definitely more of a full coveragey looking thing, but you know I'm okay with those. And that's that. So those are the 3 from Stitches Mania. And then I went back to 2x2 StitchArt because you know I am really enjoying the Northern Lights piece. And I picked something else up for them. It was a 4-season piece. Well, I went back and I bought a few more things. This one's Cardinal cross stitch. I don't know if we have cardinals here in Delaware so much. We had them all the time in the backyard in Connecticut. So we have this one. Then this one's Floral Landscape, Starry Night. I picked another one. This is similar in design in the idea of all of the different blends of colors. And you know I love purple, as you'll tell from this one and the next one. And then this one's just flowers. And it's just beautiful purple flowers. And this one I could see not stitching it as a round, you know, or finishing it as a round. The other one, obviously, you stitch all of the background. So those do make sense being rounds. So 2x2 StitchArt, Stitches Mania, and Wonderland Ukraine. I will link them all down below if you are interested. There are plenty others. I know Jan Hicks on her blog, I think it's her blog. If I find it, I will link it. Lists a bunch of Ukrainian designers. And I'm sure if you're looking around, there is a lot of stitchers trying to support right now, different designers. And so there's a way to find out some more. So that's it. That's the purchases. Okay. Let's talk giveaway. So this week I was giving away the 14 count Bambino from Tropical Stitches. It is a very light, pretty blue in a 14 count Aida. And let's mix the names around. I'm back with the blue bowl, the Delaware bowl, and Oh, I must have just said something that got Shamrock's attention. Yeah, you just lifted your head up, didn't you? The winner is, who is this? Let me put it against here. Cheryl, oh, is that even gonna come up? Cheryl S. Congratulations, Cheryl S. You have won the Aida. So if you could please get me your address, either by sending it to the Gmail account listed down below, or my Instagram, also listed down below, I would be happy to send that out to you. And I don't have the bag with me. Let me put it with the bag here. I'm gonna put it in a plastic bag with your name so that it is safe and sound. All right, so that's that. This week, so what I do sometimes is I do a little bit of shopping ahead of time so that I have different things I can go through and do for giveaways. So I was looking in my little giveaway bin. Plus, I think I'm also going to start looking at passing the stash of some patterns that I have stitched that I don't plan on stitching again. But I have a little giveaway bin. And I was looking through, and I found these two. I wish I had had the yellow. I would have sent all three if I did, but I don't. I found this petite chenille from Vintage Needle Arts. And I think she herself, it's dyed by her. There's, well, the white's probably not dyed at all. But there's 3 yards in each of these things, and it's petite chenille, so it's, and I found it in beautiful blue and white. If I could have gotten if I had the yellow, I would have sent all 3. Obviously the blue and the yellow, and then white is always a good accent piece. So if you are stitching any of the freebies, there is a hashtag, by the way, it's hashtag stitch for Ukraine. But if you are stitching any of the freebies and you're looking for different ways to finish them, maybe these 2 colors will help you. The word that I'm going to ask you to say to put your name into the blue bowl for giveaway is peace, P-E-A-C-E, that type of piece. And if you, anywhere in your comment, doesn't have to be part of a sentence, you know, just anywhere. If, wherever, I will pull, okay, I have just completely messed up my train of thought. I will look for that word in the comments next week. I almost forgot to do the giveaway this week. I was almost ready to start filming, and then I said, I saw the bowl. I said, oh no, I haven't pulled the names. So, but if you say the word peace, P-E-A-C-E, I will put your name in the bowl, and I will pick a winner for these petite chenilles. So 3 yards of each of those from Vintage Needle Arts. Okay, so that's this week's giveaway. That's it. That's all the stitching stuff. If you want to head on out, if you're still here, well, if you're still here, thank you. I hope you have a great stitching week. And if you don't want to hear life stuff, then I will see you next week. So life stuff. It's been crazy. It's been a whirlwind. We're almost there. 2 weeks from today is closing. Super, super excited. Probably that week I will be back in Delaware on Saturday. And I think I'd like to decompress and I'll probably do, well, no, I won't, because I really can't dance. I have no rhythm. I would say I'd do a Dance of Joy on my video, but you really don't want to see me dancing. But it's going to be like it's going to be a celebratory sort of floss tube, because I will be super excited, because at that point, everything will be over, the closing will be done, the house will be passed on to the new owners, and everything will be great. But, so Friday, when I came to you last week, it was awful. It was icy, it was sort of snowy, but it was just, you kept hearing the pinging of either freezing rain or sleet. I'm not sure which one it was. The roads then got icy that night. So I was definitely worried for driving the next morning. So I said to Mo, we gotta wait. We can't leave at our normal 6:30 in the morning. Luckily, the sun came out, and it came out without any clouds. Beautiful, big sun, and completely dried the roads. So I was so excited to see that, because, you know, I knew anything wet, the sun beaming on it for a couple hours would definitely help. And it did. All the roads from here to Delaware completely dry, safe to drive. I went the way that we normally go. We normally go because I want to avoid the George Washington Bridge at all costs. So normally we go down and we do the Sawmill over the Tappan Zee and the Garden State to the New Jersey Turnpike. And I can miss a lot of truck traffic that way too. Mo, unfortunately, was driving a U-Haul truck. And so he couldn't do the route we normally go. So he did do the George Washington Bridge. So he was he left right after me, and he was probably an hour and a half No, an hour. He was an hour longer than me. He got stuck getting into the bridge. There was a lot of traffic there. And then obviously he was probably driving a little slower than me because he's not used to driving it's not one of the huge ones. I think it was the 15-foot truck, but it's big enough, But he did okay. And so we got here. And so we'd gotten here mid-afternoon. He got here, I want to say, 3:15-ish. And we wanted to get this truck back. No, he probably got there before that. It was probably 2:45, 2:30, 2:45. We wanted to get the truck back by 5. And where he had to drop it off was a half an hour away from where we are right now. So we said we have to leave by 4:30. So whatever it was, 2:30, 2:45, we had from then till 4:30 to unload the truck. And darned if we didn't need every last second of it. He had packed this thing, he's very good at figuring out unpacking. So they had the, what do they call it? The mother's attic up top over the kind of the cab area. He had that packed to the gills and then the whole part of the truck. So basically what we did was, we had the truck parked and everything had to come out and walk it into the garage. And we just stuck it in the garage. We said, we'll deal with it later. And it took us, we were pretty much right to the very end, 4:20, close everything up, throw the dog in the car, as we both have to drive because he's dropping the truck off. Well, we get to the place. It was just a gas station that had a drop-off box for keys in the back. And you do the whole thing online. You send pictures and this and that, and you drop the keys off. So we didn't have to rush, but we didn't know that. It is the way it is. So the way I looked at it, that was my workout for the day because he didn't pull into the driveway. With these driveways, especially because they're newer, I guess you're not supposed to put heavy trucks on them because it can make them crack or something or other. So luckily it's not a long driveway, it's a very short driveway. He had put the truck, on the side, with the opening right by the driveway. And anything that was lighter, he took out, put it on the ground, and I would take that. And then all the heavier stuff he would take. And so up and down the driveway, throwing it in for an hour and a half. So that was my workout for the day. That's what I considered it. And then we just kind of collapsed in exhaustion on Saturday night. Sunday, I looked at all the stuff and said, oh my goodness, where am I putting this? Because this is a smaller house than what we have in Connecticut. And we haven't fully furnished it. I mean, it's got furnishings, but we don't have a lot of places to store things. And in Connecticut, we've always had a basement. And the house that we just sold had a kind of a semi-finished area that's, kind of hangout area, whatever. And then it had an totally unfinished area where the washer dryer were and everything like that. And a lot of different shelving areas. So I can't tell you how much we had stored there. We do not have a basement. Here we have a crawl space, but it's not easy access. So we're not storing a lot there. We do have an attic, but it's not huge because, again, we're downsizing house-wise, so it's smaller. So Sunday, Mo was on a mission to try to get what he could, and some of it was like, we brought just a little bit of furniture down here, not much, but it was coming up here. This is the second floor. It's a small second floor up here. And so what we could, we were taking stuff and then figuring out unboxing. I do have all of the craft drawers, containers, boxes, all that stuff. I have it all up here. I have no idea where my ink pads, my stamp sets, my re-inkers, I don't know where any of that's going yet. It's all in boxes still. I have been able to find a spot for cardstock and that container. We have a die cutter and an embossing, the Cuttlebug, and then I'm able to put some of the middle dies and the folders all over here. So I knew that was going there, but I have a whole area of stuff yet, but at least it's here and out of the garage. I have clothes. I ran out of hangers, so I couldn't keep emptying things, but I don't have enough room. I think I'm gonna have to. I said to Mo, if we don't wear or use something over the next year, we're ditching it. We're getting rid of it. And I can't even tell you how much we downsized as it was with our stuff, but it's going. I'm done. So that's going to be my challenge. I have to figure out, I'm going to look online. I gotta look at Pinterest maybe. I gotta figure out what to do with the closet to see how the best way to maximize. If anybody has a great closet organization idea, let me know. So that is still on our agenda. That's been a work in progress all week, but that was a lot of Sunday. And then poor Mo, he's so busy at work right now. Connor is on spring break, actually starting, well, I don't know if he had classes on Friday. He's on spring break. Actually, both kids are on spring break. So Mo is driving up this weekend, and he's going to grab Connor, and Connor's going to spend the week down here, starting to put applications in for summer jobs. And just chill and relax, I guess. Megan is, she's got a game Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday. She's got games. She's a lacrosse player in college. So they have Thursday through Sunday off. So she'll be coming down for a few days at the end of the week. So for a couple days, we will have both kids here before Connor has to go back up. And then Megan goes back to school herself. So I don't know what next week will bring. I'm hoping some stitching time. But I don't know the weather. It might be kind of rainy, which would be a bummer. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's going to be next week. I might be filming. I might have to film from the bedroom because I'm not sure this area will be available to me next Friday. So it'll be a surprise. I don't know where I'm coming at you next week, but nobody gets up early under the age of 50 in this house. So I can film early and not worry about it. Those of us in the house over 50, and I'm counting Shamrock because if he's 11, so if you do the whole dog thing, we're all up at the crack of dawn. So I can film early. It may take forever to upload, but I can film it at least. That's it. So I have no idea what will come next week, but I am slowly trying to organize this area. I am going to take out the measuring tape and start measuring places, and then looking at my research on IKEA. There's actually one right by Bryn Mawr. So if Megan has a game, we can also double duty it, and I can order for pickup at IKEA. So it's the best of both worlds. So that's my goal with trying to get this place all organized and not have everything on the floor, and know where I can find things, and then I would love to share it with you. That's it. That's all I got. I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. It's an unsettling time in the world, and I just wish you a sense of calm and peace, and I'm here for you if you need anything. And I guess that's it. Until next time, happy stitching.